am a teacher of teachers. That wasn't the plan. I was supposed to be a diplomat, and I have the undergraduate degrees to prove it. But that's a subject for another TED Talk. 20 years ago, I walked into a classroom for the first time at Cardozo High School in Washington, D.C., and I fell in love. I knew that was exactly where I was supposed to be and exactly what I was supposed to be doing. And so in my career since, as a teacher, a coach, a principal, a coach and supporter of principals, I've learned that everyone in a classroom, everyone who is pushing students' thinking or driving their learning forward is a teacher. And so I am a teacher of teachers. I want to take you on a short journey with me. I want you to think back to the teacher in your history who had the most profound positive impact on you. The teacher who pushed you beyond what you thought were your limits. The teacher who didn't give up on you even when you gave up on yourself. The teacher who taught you things that you didn't even know existed. Imagine yourself right now in that person's classroom again. Visualize what was on the walls, look at what's on the desks in front of you. See that teacher walking back and forth in the classroom in front of you. With that teacher in your mind's eye, consider these questions. What was she like outside of school? Did he have a family? What were her hobbies? What kept him committed to work, showing up for his students every day, driving them to strong outcomes? I'm asking you about this other side of the teacher because I don't think we pay enough attention to teachers beyond the classroom. And as we know, they're people, just like us, with hopes and fears, expectations and challenges. But teaching seems to be a more and more difficult undertaking, now more than ever before. Teachers now, the most effective ones, are looking at students who speak different languages, who have different learning needs, different challenges outside of school. And the most effective ones can meet the needs of each of the 25 or 30 students in front of them every day, regardless of all those other needs that students have. The teachers that we see that are the most effective teachers are held accountable for some really high expectations, expectations that sometimes are measured in a 40-question test that students take in the last 10 days of the school year. In addition to these high expectations that we have for teachers, we're seeing that teachers are facing a lot of challenges. We've watched teachers striking across the nation this year, demanding better pay, better benefits, better education funding. We know that teachers work 10 to 11 hours a day, but some of them have to work 2 or 3 jobs and donate blood plasma to make ends meet. We've even seen our teachers blocking bullets with their bodies, sacrificing their lives for the lives of our children. The challenges and expectations for teachers have gotten incredibly, incredibly high. I think teachers are under attack, and I want all of you to help me do something about it. I want you to join me in being no-nonsense nurturers for teachers here in Charlotte. I know what you're thinking. Nataki, what is a no-nonsense nurturer? Well, I'll tell you. On the one hand, teachers who are no-nonsense nurturers on their no-nonsense side have incredibly high expectations for themselves and for their students. They believe that every child is capable of achieving at high levels, and they do whatever it takes to get every child there. On the nurturing side, they hold themselves accountable for ensuring that their students can meet those high expectations, doing whatever it takes to build the kinds of relationships with their students that drive them to their high outcomes. When no-nonsense and nurturing sides come together, teachers are more effective than they could have been with just one side or the other. And students reap the benefits. They achieve at high levels. I get to see the impact of how no-nonsense nurturers know the difference between supporting students and coddling them. or holding students to really high expectations and never letting those expectations drop. But it occurs to me that I and the team of folks I work with shouldn't be the only people who get to do that. I want all of you to join us as no-nonsense nurturers for teachers. At CT3, I work with an amazing, amazing group of educators. And we coach and support principals and teachers across the nation to be no-nonsense nurturers. What we get to see is how teachers hold themselves to higher standards so that they can move their children farther. We get to see the impact of a teacher who's no-nonsense and nurturing on our students in ways that benefit us just not right now, but our futures as well. I want all of you to help me make those teachers understand how much we support and care for them in their work. After all, our children spend more hours a day with their teachers than we do. Our children spend more hours a day with their teachers than we do. It is incumbent upon us as a community to ensure that those teachers get the support and care that they need to drive students to high expectations. If they don't, what happens to our future? So I know what you're thinking, Nataki, that's all great, yep, makes sense, nice. But how do we do that? What does that look like? What even is no-nonsense nurturer? So the no-nonsense nurturer approach was created by Kristen Cliberero and Lee Cantor. They went into the classrooms of teachers who were achieving strong results with their students, both academically and culturally. What they saw in those classrooms became the no-nonsense nurturer approach. The approach itself is pretty straightforward. Teachers give students precise directions. They notice aloud who's following those directions. They use consequences and incentives to drive all students to those directions. But the most important piece of that approach is that they build the kinds of relationships that are life-altering, that let students know that somebody's got their back all the time. Now, you probably can't do the entire model, but you can certainly join me in helping us build relationships with teachers. Relationships are important not just because they're strong and it's nice to have them, they're life-altering. A few minutes ago, I asked you to think about the teacher who'd impacted you. And I can't see you all because of the lights, but I'm guessing you had to go back at least a decade. 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, that memory stays with you. Something about that relationship that was built with that teacher has lasted. So relationships aren't just important, folks, they're life-altering. So I want you to help me build those kinds of relationships with our teachers so that they know that we've got their backs. They have students' backs and their community has theirs. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nataki, I don't work in a school. I don't even have school-age children. Neither of those are prerequisites for showing up for teachers, to let teachers know that we support them 100%. You can be a no-nonsense nurturer by building relationships with the teachers in your colleagues' children's schools, in schools that you drive by on your way to work, a school you read about in the Observer. It doesn't matter. There are teachers in schools everywhere in the city working their fingers to the bone, doing the best for our children, for our futures. It's incumbent upon us to ensure that they have the support that they need. So let's talk about the how. The first step, choose a school. Any school, doesn't matter. Guarantee you there's some teachers there. The second step is to go to the school's website. Find a list of email addresses for the principal and the teachers. The third step, email the principal. Let the principal know, hey, I want to show up as a no-nonsense nurturer for the teachers in your building. I'm a community member, and I want to ensure that your teachers know that we've got their backs. Fourth, choose a nurturing activity that is close to who you are. So maybe you love to volunteer. You've got the time and capacity to volunteer. Sign up at the school district's website. Volunteer. Read to students for an hour. Invite students to come to your place of employment for a field trip. Go into a teacher's classroom and offer an hour of help. Teachers have a to-do list that is a mile long. Having somebody come in and just put the papers in the folders that go home with children once a week is one thing they can knock off that list. It costs you an hour, and it saves teachers probably more time. But maybe your nurturing activity is that I'm on email all day, Nataki. Great. Email the principal and say, listen, tell me which teachers in your building are doing the best jobs. Send those teachers an email. I just want to let you know, as a member of your community, I've got your back. I heard from your principal that you're doing a great job with reading scores. That's wonderful. How else can I support you? What can I do to let you know that your work is critical to the future of our nation, and I'm here to support it? Maybe you like to buy things. Please come see me afterwards if that's the case. If you like to buy things, find out the teachers, do they have a wish list on Amazon? Do they have something on Donors Choose? Teachers can put a list of, here are all the things I need for my classroom, because they're spending money out of pocket to buy it. If they can put that stuff on a website, you can go to the website, you can purchase it for them and say, listen, I know you've got a bajillion things to do. I'm hoping that my purchase of these things on this list help you out a little bit. Perhaps you're an activist. Find out from the principal, what is the item that is most important to the school that's coming up at a school board meeting? Show up at the school board meeting. Speak on behalf of that issue for that school, for the principal, for the teachers. The school board will be excited to see a community member who doesn't maybe even have children in the building, speaking on behalf of something that matters. Maybe you love to write note cards. If that teacher in your memory is a 4th grade teacher, write a note to all the 4th grade teachers at that school. Tell them about the impact that your 4th grade teacher had on you, and hoping that they'll have a similar impact on the 4th graders in front of them every day. There are a million things you can do. All that you're limited by is your own imagination. Whatever you decide to do, commit to it. Just do it. Make sure that teachers know that there are folks in this community who may not even be parents in that building who support their efforts. Quite frankly, our country depends on it. Show up. Let them know you've got their backs. Sometimes your gift card, your school board meeting note, all of those things might be the difference between a teacher who is saying, yeah, I think I can commit to this for a little while longer because I know my community has my back. What you do could have an impact that literally alters the direction of a teacher's journey, which means it alters the direction of hundreds of children. We have to make a commitment to ensure that our teachers are supported regardless of what community they're in and regardless of which students they're serving. We have the responsibility to ensure that our teachers know that we've got their backs. Think back to that teacher in your memory. Commit to ensuring to that teacher that I'm going to stand up for teachers, I'm going to support teachers and have their backs. If you can reach out to that teacher via email or the social media, do. Just let them know that, listen, I just need you to understand the impact that you had on me and that I'm committing to be a no-nonsense nurturer for teachers in my community to ensure that they understand that the community has their backs. Thank you.